Today I'm in the wood yard, got a pile of wood behind me, needs to go to the new wood yard. Time to start chucking wood. So yesterday I got a couple loads taken to the new place. I hauled a bunch of pine and spruce and some oak, and I also hauled a bunch of rounds, and today I have all of these rounds. This is stuff that I cut here on my property, trees that died. This is ash, and then I got this pile of ash, and then there's a little bit of oak left back in that corner there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to load up all this ash and that little bit of oak, and we're going to haul that and dump it. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to pick up these rounds and then dump, and there's rounds over there too. We're going to dump that stuff in the piles of the stuff that needs to be split yet. And we've got probably, I don't know, a couple hours of work here, and I got to get this cleaned up, and I'm going to work in the wood yard. I got some stuff to do there. So it's hauling day, and hopefully this will be the last time I need to haul something out of here, other than some of the wood that I've got stored here. And some of the wood I have stored here will be taken directly to the customer. It's not going to be moved to the new wood yard. I'm just going to keep it here. I've got somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 full cords of hard maple and probably 4 full cords of oak that's here on the property, stored out of the way. I've got some behind my business, behind the building, and then I've got some over in the woods over there that's stored. So I got a bunch of it here that's ready, and that stuff's all ready to be sold right now. And then I can finally start producing some more wood. I've got to get going on, especially the oak. I've got to get going on the white oak. That's job one, that's priority. And then after that, then I can start in all the other stuff. Now, a lot of the other wood is like this ash that I have here. A lot of the logs I have are a year or more old as far as the log form. So I know, especially the ash, when I split it open, it's probably going to be in the low 20 percentiles, maybe even already in the teens, especially the small stuff. That'll be dry, ready to be sold right away. So I'm not worried about the ash and the soft maple and the stuff like that, and the cherry. That stuff all dries really quick. So that I'm not worried about. What I'm worried about is the oak. I got to get a lot of oak done because it takes longer to dry. Now, a lot of the oak I have, probably 50% of it, is dry because it's smaller logs, smaller diameter logs that are fully cracked on the ends and then vertical cracks all the way. That stuff will dry, or it's dry already, or it'll dry extremely fast. And then the bigger stuff is partially dry on the outside. Once I get it cut and split, that also will dry in a matter of months, 3, 4, 5 months, which that means by fall time, it'll all be ready to go. But I gotta get cutting it and splitting it right now. Time is of the essence. Time to get to work. It was there, and now it's in there. So all I got left here is this, that's ash from here to there, and that's oak from there to there. So when I come back, I'm gonna throw all this on into the trailer up to the front, and then I'm gonna put those rounds and those rounds into the back. And then when I get to the wood yard, I'm just gonna shove off all the rounds into the pile, and then I'll dump all of that where I put this. So that way I can do it in one trip, and then I just got to do some cleanup. So time to head down the road. Well, that's where it was. Cleaned it all up. I got all of the rounds, all of the splits put in, and I cleaned up most of the debris, picked up all the chunks and stuff. So now these flowers can take off in here, and this can grow up and look decent in here, because right now it's kind of dead looking. Hopefully I don't get in trouble with the management. This big log right here, this is just a big oak round I put in here about, I don't know, 5 years ago. And once the grass all grows up and everything, it's just a nice place for people to sit so I can photograph them kind of against this background. But a lot of the wildflowers grow kind of right through here, and then over that way farther, I got a big patch, and then this rock wall here I use for photography, and the big chunk of wood over here that's got a chunk of metal in it, I tried to split it to try to get it, knock it apart, and it wouldn't go. I split this chunk off right here. You can see this is wobbly, but there's a chunk of metal actually joining it right in the middle there, and I didn't want to cut it. So basically this is going to be another prop I use for photography. Somebody can sit there and somebody can sit there and kind of use this as a background, just like that chunk of wood over there. And everything is back, and I think my work here is good for now. Now we're going to go make a dump, get rid of the rounds into the pile where all the rounds are going to be split, and then put all the other stuff in with the splits. So let's go make a dump. So there they are. Both loads have been dumped. First load I dumped over here. This is all ash. And then the second load we dumped over here, and the oak is on this end, the ash is kind of to the back. And it all fit here because this is the road that I drive on coming in and out, so it's out of the way. And that is on concrete. They're busted up slabs like this, like you see here, but it's not on dirt. I mean, there's a little bit of dirt there, but not much. So that should stay really nice and dry. Now, one of the things that I noticed as I was loading all this wood up, this wood was sitting at my business and on the ground since I dumped it 3 months ago. So we had I think we had some snow when I dumped some of this. Yeah, we did. We had a little bit of snow, and we had inches and inches of rain for a very long time. Now the ash, the trees were dead for a while when we cut them, so they were pretty darn dry. The oak was also pretty darn dry because it was from dead trees. So all of this wood was below 20% when I cut it, split it, and dumped it on the ground. There was no mold. Zero, not one speck at all. And it was not in an area that it gets a lot of sun. I would say it gets maybe 5-6 hours of sun a day, and there's trees kind of all the way around, so it doesn't get a lot of wind. So one of the real key things is that if you're cutting and splitting green wood and then putting it on the ground and keeping it in the shade, and it gets rained on or it's got snow on it and it's in a big pile, like I said, contact with the ground, that's where you're going to get some mold problems. This stuff, zero. Did I mention zero? Zero. Zero mold. So that's a good thing. And I also threw off these rounds over here, right in this area. This is kind of where I'm going to be keeping all of the rounds as I get them. Now, all of this wood, every speck that you see here was wood that was given to me. So basically free, other than the stuff I had to load and then dump here. That load there came from someone. That load over there came from the farm. That was all tree service wood. The load right here behind this one was all free wood, and that was delivered. This was all wood that came from tree service that I had to move here from the farm. So it's about as free as it can get. It was already cut, and some of it was actually delivered here. So I didn't pay anything for any of that. So that's a good thing. That's where I'm going to be keeping most of the wood that I get that needs to be split with a splitter. I'm going to dump it out in this area, kind of to the back. And then the wood that I get that is the odd size stuff, these great big nasties you see up here. I'll walk up here so you can see them. This is where we're going to put all the oversized stuff, the stuff that cannot be cut with or split, processed, that's the word I'm looking for, processed with the Firewood processor, because you're going to have a lot of knotty stuff like this and this and that and that, and that big nasty one up there. That one right there actually looks okay, and this one I don't know, might be okay. But big crotches like this is stuff that really can't be run through the processor. And as you can see, there's a bunch of rounds cut here, and I did not cut them. Mike came this morning and cut up a bunch of wood. He said he was going to stop in as he had time this week and next week. Cuts them to 16 inches. If they're big, he rips them down like you can see here. Anything that's a little bit bigger, he rips them. And he just likes to stay busy and active. He just comes and does this, and he's welcome to come anytime he wants. He also does a lot of repairs for me because he's way smarter than I am when it comes to repairs, so that's a cool thing. So he's going to keep cutting on this, and I told him, I said, go nuts, cut all you want. And then this stuff over here is all cherry, and that will be cut up in this area. Some of this could go through the processor. There's a few decent logs in here, but I kind of just wanted to keep the cherry separate from all the other wood that's up there, because there's white oak, there's pine, there's a lot of ash, there's a lot of red oak that's barkless stuff, more ash, and then a mixed stuff in the back. Right now, up on the concrete slab, there is 6 or 7 full semi loads sitting there waiting to be processed. So that's going to happen. But I'm not getting my processor till next week. I'm getting it back then. So in the meantime, we're taking care of this kind of stuff. Taking care of that stuff over there. I built that bin. We did the hickory, and I brought the pine and then that ash and the oak over there. And right now there is a bunch of pallets here that you're looking at that I have hauled here. And I need to make bins. So I've got time now today. I got a couple hours left before it gets dark to make another one of these bad boys. So I just went and got wire. I just stopped in and picked it up. Here it is. This is what I use. This is a 1/2 mile. It's 17 gauge electric fence wire from Oklahoma Steel Wire. This was about $48, $49. It's a 1/2 mile. That is the stuff I use, and I will probably use most of that building bins. Sounds like a lot, but I do doubling the wire, and I'm going to be doing that right here. I'm going to put one. I'm going to leave about a pallet's width of space, and then we're going to start another one right here. Go 4 pallets wide like this one is, 4 pallets wide, 5 pallets out, and then we're going to do another space, and then right here we're going to put another bin right here. And then after this bin it gets built, then where that pine is, that will all get sold. We're going to put a big bin here for mixed stuff. So that is my plan, but you're not going to see that today because you already saw enough for today. Tomorrow, come on back. We're going to build a bin. I'm going to do it now, but you're going to see it tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. We'll see you then. Good night, Irene.